So there's no hard and fast rule, but still from the very beginning, if you're sure that you want to get into product management, you can do courses on agile methodology, lean startup, design thinking, and maybe storyboarding. You can do some of these courses on Coursera or Udemy or wherever and get the certification.
Hello everyone, my name is Jasleen Thaluja and I welcome you all to one-on-one session with Thought Leader by Seco. So Seco is a first micro-learning based community wherein you can learn just about anything you want to in a minute. In short, it's a world where knowledge meets seekers. And today for our one-on-one session, we have Purnima Balram with us who has a decorated professional background and a very strong academic background as well. So let's hear from Purnima directly here. So Purnima, could you please introduce yourself to our viewers so that they can know you better?
Sure. Justine, first of all, I think this is a very exciting initiative. So I remember when I was first approached by Seco for this session, this is my first experience sharing session. And I wanted to provide some insights which might be useful for the audience out here. Hi, my name is Purnima Balram. And BTech plus MBA is a very traditional, cliched career path which people choose. And however, it does not, discount the fact that an engineering background always helps you understand concepts better. So going around along that path, I had also done my engineering in electricals, and post that I cleared CAT and I joined DMS IIT Delhi for my MBA. It was a wonderful 2 years that I had at DMS, be it in terms of pedagogy, curriculum, the crowd, the coursework, everything was really exciting. And for people who are actually not sure about how this entire process works, I could give some insights into that also sometime further. Besides that, right now I was placed at ICICI Bank as a management trainee directly out of DMS, and I worked for 2 years with ICICI in the corporate banking space. Post that, I made a switch, and right now I'm working with Goldman Sachs in the consumer banking space as a product manager. So this is something about my career path. In my free time, I like to read, I like to watch movies, and I like to do a little bit of poetry. So yeah, that's a bit about me.
All right. Got it. That's a very crispy introduction, and you have a very diversified profile, and I feel it's too much for one person. So
Okay.
yeah, Purnima. So without any further ado, let's start with the whole segment. So the first segment is a rapid fire. So
Okay.
I will ask you these questions. So make sure that you are answering in 2 to 5 seconds. So are you ready for that?
Sure. Shoot.
Okay. So like describe Purnima Balram in 3 words.
Energetic, impatient, and calculative also. So mix of this.
All right.
Yeah.
Amazing. And if you could win an Olympic medal for any sport, whether it's real or fake, so what would it be?
I think swimming, because I like it. I
Swimming.
like swimming. Yeah.
Even I
Yeah. I
like
think
swimming.
that. Okay.
Good choice. Okay, so what's one book or movie you will recommend to everyone to watch?
Book. I think Ikigai. Yeah.
Okay, okay, and
Ikigai.
why? Why this specific
Because
book?
yeah, I've always been very fascinated by the Japanese culture, and this throws some light on that. Besides, it tells the reason for their longevity and the reason how they, how they keep that enthu in life throughout the old ages and everything. And I think that makes perfect sense. So keeping yourself energetic, enthusiastic, doing something, and not losing that energy. Energy is basically the crisp. I mean, the nutshell of that book, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, that was something interesting. And so the next question is if you could interview a celebrity, who would it be and why?
I think Ranveer Singh.
And
Yeah, he
that
seems like a funky, funny personality who I'd want to interact with. So yeah,
high
yeah,
five.
I think it'll be Ranveer Singh. Sure.
I guess for every girl it would be Ranveer Singh only. What I feel.
Oh really? Okay, okay.
Yeah, and so this is the the question that we ask to like every thought leader in every like session. So like one life lesson you learned and tell almost every other person about.
I think really internalizing concepts. There have been times when I've just studied for the marks initially, and then later on, when I'm asked about it, I'm not pretty sure. So I think that's something. Really internalize your concepts. Whatever you're learning, just make sure that you're really good at it. So I've heard this. I've heard this quote that whatever you are, be a good one. So I think that makes sense. Really try to
Yeah,
internalize whatever you learn. Yeah, there's no point.
I absolutely agree with you. All right, Purnima. So, like now, like we will have this activity, like wherein like I'll be listing down a few things. So you have to
Okay.
either swipe it right or swipe it left. So in
Sure.
short, like right means you're saying yes to it, and left means you're saying no to it. So like should I
Okay. Yeah.
shoot?
Yeah. Shoot.
Okay. Meditation.
Right.
Okay, trying new
Yeah.
cuisine.
Left. I mean, I don't know if there's insects involved and all that because I've seen all that on National Geographic, so I'm not sure. Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying swipe it left to this trying new
Yeah.
cuisine.
Yeah.
Okay, cryptocurrency.
Left. I'm not sure. I'm not all about the crypto market yet. So yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. And traveling.
Right. Always right.
Of course,
Yeah.
traveling.
Yeah. Always
Right.
right.
Zoom meeting.
Sorry.
Zoom meeting.
Somewhere in the middle. It depends on whom you're having the Zoom meeting with. I've enjoyed some Zoom meetings, but not so. Sometimes left, sometimes right. Yeah.
Yeah, but still, like if you have to choose one, either swipe
Mm,
right or swipe left, so
yeah.
what would you?
Yeah. Left. I'd rather meet in person. So yeah, left.
Okay. All right. So like that was our rapid fire segment, which went so well, and I hope you enjoyed it too, Purnima.
Yeah. Do I get a gift hamper or something? No, I don't. Right.
Definitely, yeah, after this session, like it is
Sure.
coming
Sure.
on your
Okay.
way.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, I had fun. Just
Okay,
yeah.
so same, yeah. So now, like, let's start with the like Q&A round, like for which our audience is like waiting. So let's start with it. So like, Purnima, like, can you tell me like about your journey from studying engineering to doing MBA from IIT and being a product manager at ICICI and recently switching to Goldman Sachs? So like, could you please like tell me about your journey?
Sure. So, while doing my engineering, I always wanted to do a master's in business administration because I figured that's maybe where my passion lies. You can make a change in the corporate world and so on and so forth. So, I cleared CAT, and I mean, I'll just give a bit of a detailed view into how selection process works at IIT Delhi or any other IIM, etc. for that purpose. So once you clear CAT, you get your percentile, and IIMs usually send in a letter. But for other institutes like IIT, NMIMS, JBIMS, IIFT, etc., you will have to apply. So you need to watch out for deadlines for these institutes. Post that, there is actually a personal interview, a group discussion, a written round, any of these in any particular order it could happen. And then there are calls which are sent out in multiple slots. So the reason I chose DMS IIT Delhi is it's probably the most economic MBA that you can do from a tier 1 college. It was really cheap compared to the other IIMs. Placements are at par with most IIMs, and infrastructure is great. Plus you get to live a semester system, which makes sure that you actually understand the concepts rather than going through trimesters after trimester without getting to know any subject in detail. So I think that really worked for me. And post that, so the placement system in any B school is mostly student driven. So I was part of the placement committee at IIT Delhi. We usually source leads from LinkedIn, from our other peers, contacts, etc. And ICICI Bank was one of the first companies to visit our campus with a management trainee role for freshers. So I was a fresher. I did not come with any prior work experience, because of which you sort of miss out on opportunities like Amazon, RB, etc. So they look out for people who come with a prior work experience. But then, yeah, I took up this particular placement, opportunity at ICICI. I joined their Mumbai office at the headquarters. ICICI is a great place to start off with because it sort of, it drags you, it drains you, it prepares you for whatever corporate life has to throw at you. So it's great, and also there's complete visibility of the strategy. So I got a chance to work on multiple different projects of varying complexity, which might not have happened in any other corporate. But this was in the corporate banking space, so the products which you deal with seemed a bit alien to me. It was not something I could relate to, and I felt that I wanted to move to a more retail or a more consumer banking side. That's when this job opportunity at Goldman Sachs came up, and I applied for it through LinkedIn Jobs, and the entire process, it worked out, and I'm really grateful. And so yeah, right now I'm in Goldman Sachs. Yeah.
Amazing. Like your journey, like till now, is so like amazing, and you're doing so good. And I'm like looking forward to know more insights from you. So
Okay.
yeah, and
Sure.
so
One more
the
thing for
next like
people who want to go to DMS, it's at the heart of the city, so there are many hangout spots, and you'll really enjoy your 2 years there. So that's another, yeah, it's like a cherry on the top. Yeah.
yeah, all right. Okay, so like Purnima, like your guide for like students like who wants to like pursue their careers in different domains, like apart from where they started.
Okay. Actually, even if you look at me, I'm from an engineering background. I was not a finance enthusiast to start with, and I did not have a CFA or an FRM or any other such certification which might dovetail my career into finance, to say so. And even my internship. So, as a fresher, where you do your internship, summer internship matters a lot during your final placements. So, I did my summer internship with a digital healthcare firm, which is again nothing to do with where I finally got placed. But I think if you prove your mettle and you prove that you have some value add to organizations, that's all that matters. Besides that, even if you're in FMCG and you want to move to finance, so you need to understand that right now organizations are also changing. There is fintech, there is edtech, there is insurtech. So organizations are also understanding that you cannot create great products with just finance enthusiasts or with just engineers or with just quality analysts. You need a combination of all this. So they are also taking up people from different domains. Besides this, if you want, if you're going through the problem that your CV is not getting shortlisted because you don't have this in your background, then of course you can do a course, or you can do a double masters or dual masters. So we in India usually believe that you do one bachelor's, you do one master's, you get into a job, and that's it. But maybe the path you want to take is just one course away or one degree away. So you can always go for another master's, another degree. That's never bad. It's never bad. And always on your CV it would show as a positive. You took a gap to sort of take a different path, or to take a different course. I think that's always a positive. So these are multiple ways you can use a combination of this to get in to change your career path. Yeah.
So it's never too late. Like you can of course
Yeah,
like
it's never
opt
too
for
late.
any.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So like what does the general recruitment process of MNCs look like?
So most MNCs, they follow a four-stage process. Your CV is first shortlisted. There might be a technical interview. If you have previous work experience, it would be based on your previous work experience, and again some requirements that they want, that they're looking out for. Then there might be a group discussion or a case discussion, because right now, because of the pandemic, there's we're not able to conduct group discussion, so it might be a case discussion. And the final is an HR round, which just checks whether you're actually up for the job, if you have any location preferences, if there's any reservation in terms of the benefits that you want. So yeah, it's a very straightforward process in most MNCs, a combination of one or more. Yeah.
Okay, so it's easy, like you can say.
It's easy. It's easy, as in if your CV gets shortlisted, the rest of it is just up to you and the effort that you put in. Yeah.
Correct. Okay, like since like you are a product manager and you have cracked these interviews, like could you please like tell your secret, like how you have like like crack these interviews for these corporations as a product manager?
So for any corporate and for any role, I think the secret is you just take the job description and you work backwards. You just look at what they're looking out for. If there's some skill that they have highlighted, you and if you have the same, if you have the same skill set, you have the same experience, it always does good to highlight that particular thing in your CV before putting it up. Again, what I do is you can subtly mention these points in your introduction so that people recruiters pick up on that and they build, but then you need to be cautious that you have backup in case they probe you further on any of those requirements. So I think taking the job description, working backwards is the best way.
So, like, can you tell your secret to it, like how you did it, like just one instance or one example?
Yeah, so one thing is engaging the recruiters in a conversation. What happens is, as long as the interview is in your control, it's good. You have introduced some topic in your self introduction, and they build up on that, and you know that they're going to take that point and they're going to probe you further. You have backup ready for it. So you just keep on building on that, and you keep on adding points which they might pick up, which might interest them, and then the conversation goes on. So it should be less of a question answer and more of a conversation. So if you can drive your interview like that, it's nothing like it. Yeah.
All right. So, like your guidance on what type of internship I can assist one when aiming for product manager role.
There's no hard and fast rule, because I know people who have interned in the sales and the ops roles and have still managed to get into product management. So there's no hard and fast rule, but still from the very beginning, if you're sure that you want to get into product management, you can do courses on agile methodology, lean startup, design thinking, um, yeah, and maybe storyboarding. You can do some of these courses on Coursera or Udemy or wherever and get the certification. So it would add to your resume. I think, yeah, that helps. Also, if your internship has some element of strategy, digital, yeah, then, or marketing even for that matter, then that could be considered suitable for product managers.
Like this guidance coming from you will definitely help like the people like who are aiming for
I
this
hope
product
so. I mean,
manager.
it's worked for me and it's worked for people I've known, so it's just based on that. Yeah.
Okay. So like what courses like one can take up or what skills can one hone in order to build great products?
I think on the top of my mind, agile methodology works well. So if you do a course on agile methodology, there's something called digital product management. I think there's a course on Coursera and even on Udemy, but you can do that. Then you should learn more about lean startup. You could learn more about, if you could learn about some tools like Zeppel or Jira, that could also really be a value add. Similarly, storyboarding, user journey, understanding that these are some common discussion topics also in interviews. So yeah, I think this could help. Yeah.
Okay, now like the next question is what are some key things like recruiter look for in the resume of PM candidate, like according to you?
I think any element of strategy and digital, because a product manager, so the term of product manager, product owner, project manager, these are all being used interchangeably these days, because people are, organizations are understanding that you need to have all sorts of people in a team for it to work. And when you're talking about product owner, you are responsible for the entire life cycle, be it from the ideation, the customer engagements, the prototyping, the testing, repeating the entire process. So you're responsible for every single element of the product development. So if you have an experience in one or more of these, that really helps. Even I've known people who have gone into marketing and then moved to product, because it makes sense. You have an entire oversight of the product journey. I think, yeah, somewhere where but if you're, maybe if you're in an ops or a sales, it might be a bit more difficult to switch into product. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I feel. Yeah.
Okay, so all right. So what are some frameworks that come in handy, like solving a product case in the interview?
So depending on the type of product and depending on the stage of product development, there are multiple tools which you can use. So you can use the the 5 C's, the 4 P's, the 5 Y's framework. There's something called an IDAR framework. Then agile methodologies. These can be used. Now, when you're solving a case discussion, you could look at a product from a customer angle, or you can look at it from a holistic angle. Something like a 4P gives you a holistic product view, because there's price, place, promotion, product, the entire thing is covered. And even the same thing could go for 5 C's. But if you look at an IDAR framework, it's specifically from the customer angle. Like, how do I get the customer's attention? How do I create an interest? How do I ensure that the customer desires to own this particular product? How do I make the customer action on it? So you see, sometimes you see pop-ups on the screen, or you log into a Geo to purchase something, and then you get a Myntra pop-up. So it just makes the customer action on certain things, because you know that the customer has a desire to purchase an item. And then the last step of IDAR is retaining the customers, because obviously you'll have competitors. So you need to have that one edge to kind of retain your customer. So that is from a customer standpoint. Similarly, design thinking is also from customer standpoint. So you can use these frameworks depending on which view you want to take of a product in a case discussion. Yeah.
Okay. Like in this answer, like you have mentioned stages. So like in respect to that, like I want to know, like what are the stages of product life cycle?
So when you talk about a product life cycle, what happens is, first you introduce a product. In a very layman manner, if you say you introduce a product, it grows because customers come in, they're purchasing the product. Then you reach a stage where your customer onboarding is at its high, is at its peak. The market is aware about your product, and because of that, competitors are also aware about your product, and they start introducing similar products with similar features, or which have an edge. Yeah, after your product hits the maximum client onboarding in terms of traction, etc., then competitors become aware of your product being there in the market. And so we see similar products being introduced, and then starts the decline stage. So there's introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. This is a simple life cycle of a product. But you can do multiple things in each point of this life cycle. Like, for example, in the introduction stage, you can do a lean startup. Now, I'll just take a very simple example. Okay, so suppose you're running a online coaching institute. Okay, there are multiple students who want to do their MS abroad, or who want to do their higher studies abroad. So they want you to take into consideration multiple factors, like whether they're capable of getting in, whether their resume is good enough to be selected, and so on and so forth. So you take two of these factors, you create a prototype, you show it to the customer, and you say that, see, I can sort of assess your IQ online, I can assess your background, and then I can show you suitable recommendations for courses and institutes, etc. But then the student comes back and says, I also want you to take into consideration my economic background, the amount of money I'm willing to put in, and then the location. So you know that your product is not good enough to be released to the market as such. So you can take it back, and you can again introduce these features. That is the process of lean startup. So if we do this pretty early at the at the introduction stage, that really helps. Again, moving on to the growth stage, that is when your product is ready, but you want to make sure that people out there know that there's a great product which could sort of address their needs. At that point of time, your marketing and your promotion strategies really help. You need to make sure that there's maximum marketing. uh, it reaches out to the target customer segment, and so on and so forth. Then the third stage would come maturity, when customers know that you have a great product, they know that it would address their pain points. They get onboarded onto your platform, and it's gaining traction. It's at the peak of its possible life cycle. The next stage is when there are other coaching institutes which realize that you're having an online presence, and they might also barge in. At that point of time, you need to update yourself in order to prevent the decline phase. So this is the entire product life cycle which happens, and there are multiple steps you can take to make sure that it works for you. Yeah.
Okay, so basically, like there are four stages of this product life cycle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I really like the way, like how precisely, like you have answered these all stages with examples. So
Yeah, I
that,
think,
like that was good.
when you learn, you need to sort of relate to it, then it starts making sense to you. So I think, yeah.
Correct. And examples are the best way, like to
Yeah.
even like for someone to understand the whole. Yeah, great. So, so this is the last question. I'll be
Mm-hmm.
asking you. So, what is design thinking?
So design thinking is, now you have a problem statement which is not defined properly. Okay, you know that a customer might require this, a customer might be facing this issue, but you don't have a properly defined problem statement to it. So at that point of time, this is a solution based approach which you take. So you're not trying to define the problem, but you're trying to get the customer feedback and collaborate with them in creating this particular product. So even, the beauty of design thinking is the first stage of it is empathizing with the customer, and then sort of ideating, prototyping, testing, and then repeating it. And design thinking gives you the flexibility of not following a systematic manner. It's not a linear process. You can first empathize with the customer, then you can prototype, you can sort of test it, and then come back to the empathizing phase again to see whether this helps the client. So it's a non-linear process, and it's more of looking at the product from the customer angle. So customer collaboration is a huge part in this. So that's what design thinking is all about. Yep.
Okay, so the main
Yeah.
priority is customer, like according to them, like
Yeah. Yeah.
your whole design. All
Yeah.
right.
And creating
Okay.
something which the customer understands at
Hmm.
a very early
Got it.
stage before you release it to the market, and then you see that there's no one who actually wants this. So yeah. So that's the whole point of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So customer satisfaction should be
Yeah.
there in this
Yeah.
whole thing.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
So basically, Purnima, this is something like a sequence signature question that we ask to every thought leader again in our one-on-one session. So it's
Yeah.
like if you like would like give any advice like for students or young like professional like based on your journey so far, like why learning every day is important.
Um, I'll just say something that I wish I had this realization very early on. But we are going to spend around 40 to 50% of our entire life working, trying to achieve financial stability, being out there in the corporate world, either as entrepreneurs or working for a corporate in any manner. So it's very important to upskill yourself. Like in the product life cycle, we spoke about the decline phase, right? Wherein you keep updating the product to stay relevant. So upskilling yourself is very important. The next thing is internalizing the concepts. I think I mentioned this at the beginning also. So whatever you study, if you are interested in it, try to understand it in the best way possible. Try to rephrase questions in multiple manners so till it starts making sense to you. So even, I mean, this is what I'm doing even in my current role. I'm trying to, if there's a problem statement given to me, I try to understand multiple things. Why is this like this? Why is it not the other way? What benefit do we have in taking this particular step? So ask a lot of questions, upskill yourself, and it's never too late to learn. So keep learning, and yeah, keep updating yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you with the all the things that you have said in this like in this question. Like it's never too late. Like don't give
Yeah,
up
it's
in life.
never too late. Yeah.
Like every day is learning. Like every day we are learning something new.
True, true. Yeah.
Oh,
And there are multiple courses out there. It can make you see it. They put it in a very interesting manner. There's gamification being used even from the education standpoint. So, I mean, the courses right now which are out there are very interesting to even just listen to it. So, I think, yeah. Yeah.
absolutely. So yeah, with this, like we are done with like all the questions, and I personally enjoyed the whole session. I hope you enjoyed it too.
Me too, me too. I enjoyed it. I mean, from BTech to MBA to work, it's been a complete whirlwind. I've never had the opportunity to take a minute to take a breather and, sort of course correct or analyze where I've gone wrong or what I've done. But I think SECO has provided this opportunity. I actually sat back and thought about the entire journey and what has worked, what has not worked. I think it's important to share that. Yeah.
Exactly. and like all your answers like were really crisp and informative, and I'm sure like whosoever will be like hearing this session will like learn immensely. So
I hope
thank
so
you
too.
like for answering. Definitely they will. And like thank you like for answering all these questions with such perfection, Purnima. And thank you once again like for taking up time and participating in this one-on-one session with Thought Leader by C4.
Sure. Thank you, Jasleen. Thanks a lot.